Imagine being told you can't live somewhere because of who you are. That is the sad reality many breeds of dogs face, like the American Bull Terrier, more commonly known as the Pit Bull, because of misinformation and misplaced fears. When I got out of the Marine Corps, I had a hard time coping with civilian life, but I found it easier to cope with it if I had someone with me at all times. So me and my fiance made a decision to get a dog. We rescued a 9-week-old pit bull puppy named Trappy, and we hit a couple of bumps on the road after that because my complex had a ban on dogs they deemed violent. Lucky for me, Trappy's more than just a pet. He's an emotional service animal, and they couldn't deny him from living with me. According to the American Temperament Society, the test done in 2013, 86.8% of pit bulls passed their test that involves stability, aggressiveness, friendliness, and protectiveness, while only 85.2% of golden retrievers passed and 69.8% of chihuahuas passed. Dogs should not be discriminated against based on breed by property managers, landlords, or counties. Today I will be stating why breed-specific legislation is wrong and how it affects both people and dogs negatively. I will also put to rest some common misconceptions and misinformation that surround the pit bull breed. And finally, I will explain how we can make a change by spreading factual information about the breeds. Pit bulls are one of the most discriminated against breeds down here in South Florida. As a matter of fact, it is illegal to own a pit bull or any dog with pit bull-like characteristics down in Miami-Dade. No breed of dog is inherently violent. Violence is not a tendency they are born with. Violence is a taught trait. According to the American Kennel Club, there are currently 75 banned or restricted breeds in the United States. Breed selective legislation is usually put in place with good intentions, following a bite, an attack, or a tragic incident. However, doing so only punishes responsible dog owners and does very little to address the root of the problem, which is irresponsible dog owners. The Journal of Animal and Veterinary Advances found that owner behavior has a direct impact on aggression and personality. Over the years, perception of which dog is most dangerous has changed. Starting with the 70s as the Doberman Pinscher, the 80s it was the German Shepherd, the 90s it was the Rottweiler, and today it's the Pit Bull. Which begs the question, which breed will be next? Maybe we should stop blaming the breeds and start putting irresponsible dog owners accountable for their actions. While breed selective legislation succeeds in the mass punishment of responsible dog owners, it does very little to punish actual irresponsible dog owners. Other ways it fails is that it is difficult to enforce, and it costs a lot of money. Maryland spent over $250,000 last year on their pit bull ban, which is money that could be put to better use by addressing the root of the problem. Also, putting up breed selective legislations can cause people to get rid of their pets suddenly and create an overflow in animal shelters. There are many myths surrounding pit bulls. One of them is pit bulls have a locking jaw, which is false. There have been scientific studies that have proved pit bulls are no different than any other dog. And Dr. Brisbane, a PhD researcher in the University of Georgia, has found that there is absolutely no evidence of any kind of a locking mechanism in the pit bull's jaw. Pit bulls have the strongest bite force of all dogs. Another false misconception. Dr. Brady Barr of the National Geographic, who measured the bite force in pounds of Rottweilers, German Shepherds, and pit bulls, have shown that pit bulls scored the lowest bite force of all three dogs. And lastly, pit bulls are more dangerous than other dogs. Pit bulls, just like any other dogs, are only as dangerous as their owner allows them to be. As a matter of fact, pit bulls have consistently scored above average in the American Temperament Test time and time again. There are many things we can do to make a change, and more importantly, spreading the right information and the actual facts regarding breeds mislabeled as violent or aggressive is one way we can make a change. Breed selective legislation places restrictions on responsible dog owners, causing families to give up their pets to keep living where they currently live. It does very little to address the problem, and it costs taxpayers money. We can make a change by going to petition2congress.com, search breed selective legislation, input your zip code, and sign the petition to make a change. Imagine not being allowed to live where you live because of who you are. Now imagine being the movement that changes all that. Did you stop it?
No, I was